Hey guys, we're going to get started today doing an incredible dish with Cornish hen chicken breast. Now you've had regular chicken breast. This is a bit more tender, a little bit more delicate, and much smaller, obviously. But now we're going to get started on a couple of things and ingredients. We're going to be using the great quality olive oil, and today the strawberry infused vinegar, which is actually really going to add to the flavor of this. And we're going to do something called a savory French toast. And we got this challah bread here. Anybody who's ever made French toast before knows that challah bread really is the way to go with this, right? So let's get started on just a couple of what's first, what's second. Now I am going to be sauteing with a little bit of olive oil today. Now it usually goes against a lot of rules, even though there's no rules in cooking, but the olive oil can be used to saute when you cut it with butter. And this is what we're going to do today because we want to kind of balance out the olive oil flavor. You know, we don't want it to be so potent. So what we're going to do is take a little bit of our butter here. We're just going to check the heat of our pan. And now when you see the butter is going to turn brown like that, you don't add your butter first, you add your olive oil. Kind of take your butter aside. Put it over there. Now you want to try to use a good quality butter, because if you use a butter that has a high water content, that water is just going to be released into the olive oil and it's going to splash all over your face, so we don't want that. So we're going to kind of return this to the fire, and I do what's called tempering. I put a little bit off, a little bit. Now I say to myself, okay, I need a little bit of olive oil in there too. And I'm at the point now where there's a good balance. And that's where I'm going to salt my chicken, my Cornish hen chicken breast here, and a cracked black pepper always. So what we're going to do is, now that we have a good hot, but not super hot, right? Because you're going to change the components of the olive oil and the butter and everything else. We're going to put our chicken breast down. Sometimes, you know, sauteing on a high temperature really isn't a good thing. So while this is going down and kind of marrying itself into these flavors, these fats, we're going to start with the savory French toast. We're going to crack 2 eggs. I like brown eggs. You can use whatever egg you want. And we're going to give this a nice gently stir. And I have some spices that I'm going to be throwing in this mix. And let me go over them with you. Turmeric, salt, pepper, sugar, cumin, and Old Bay seasoning. And they're all going to go in like this. This is what you call a savory French toast, folks. Now, don't knock it until you try it. Chicken's doing its thing over there. We're going to continue to move this around like so. At the same time, we don't want this French toast to be bigger than the chicken, so we're going to start to trim this around a bit. I just want to make it a little even. It could be an OCD thing, I don't know. Now, at the same time, we have a lot of really good fats in here. We're going to turn our chicken breast over, and we do got a nice sear that we want. Next, what we're going to do is just put our chicken to the side. Now, if you want to lift your chicken up like this, and you take a spoon and you baste it, like this is what I'm talking about when you're sauteing something. You want to get these flavors all in that chicken. There's no such thing as only putting a little oil and a little fat. You either do it or you don't do it. Now this goes back down like that. And it soaks up the rest of these incredible flavors. Not only that, but it absorbs the flavor of the chicken, right? All right, so while that's doing that, we're also going to take these haricots verts and we're going to put them on the side too. And we're going to let everybody doing its thing. It's low temperature. You notice I'm not frantic. We're just waiting. That's what cooking's about. Let's clean up a little bit. Now what happens if you wanted to do this with veal? Can you do this with veal? Can you do this with chicken on the bone? Sure, absolutely. Why am I doing it with Cornish game hen breast? Because I just wanted to be a little bit creative, I guess. So I'm going to take a mushroom. These are regular button mushrooms. You never wash a mushroom. You just kind of go like that to get the dirt out. Let's slice that as thin as we can. All right, and what we're going to do is put a thinly sliced mushroom right in the center of that as well. Now this is definitely called one pot cooking. Now we got some chorizo. We're going to put that in there as well because we want the flavor of the meat, the pork in there. It's really going to lend to this dish. And this is all going to render, the fat's going to go down, it's going to dissipate into the sauce, and we're going to get that flavor that we're really looking for. And let's see where we're at. Everything is doing nicely, right? We're going to check on this bread. This is perfect. We're going to flip that over. Everybody's doing their thing here, and all these flavors are getting married together. So what we're going to do is take our dish. We're going to take our haricots verts. We're going to take them off the plate because we're going to assemble this dish a little bit at a time, but we want the flavors of everything. These mushrooms with this olive oil is just incredible. Okay, what we're going to do is take a large plate, and this is going to be our plate here for plating. We're going to take our incredible bread, which was soaked up with all this good stuff. Our chicken is ready, and you want to try not to get nervous and say, oh God, let me go back to the fire. If you thought it was too hot, you could just pull it off. It's fine. Now we got the bread here centered. This is going to be the center of our plate. We're going to take a little bit of this roasted pepper tapenade that I made earlier. Okay, we're going to put that over the top. Now we're going to do a couple of other things here, folks. We got some fresh basil at the very end, and be careful, this pops in your face. We're going to throw it in that delicious olive oil. And we're going to add a little bit of some peas that I blanched earlier, just a little bit. Now, we're going to start to assemble the plate. See how that pork is starting to really render down and you're getting that flavor? I'm going to show you what we're going to do with all that flavor later. So we got our chicken breast. Now this is Cornish hen chicken breast. Make no mistake here. We're going to put that right on there, cooked perfectly, right? It's got to be juicy. Don't overcook your chicken. I'm going to have to come home and teach you a lesson. Do not overcook your chicken. All right? You know what they say, don't overpower the plate, and we're not going to do that. Now, we have all this stuff here. We're going to return it back to the fire. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this savory mixture that we did. This is going to be combined in there. We're going to be doing almost a style omelet. What do I mean by almost a style omelet? It's not really quite an omelet, but it's almost. Now we got that. That in itself with some bread, you'll find me on a beach somewhere. But we're going to up this a little bit. We don't want anything to stick. And then we're going to throw this savory mixture down here. And what I want to do is let it kind of coat the whole pan. I'm just going to pick it up individually. You notice how it's kind of coming together? That's kind of how we want. My trusty food stylist will get me a spatula right now. All right, clean up a little bit, clean as you go, right? We always want a nice looking set here. And you could smell, you will be able to smell this at home. I know the camera people are drooling at this, but now you'll be able to smell these aromas that are coming out, right? This is what I'm going to do. The very last second, I have this strawberry vinegar, and I'm putting a little dash over it. Now in France, they would use lemon juice in their eggs. That's right. So if you go to France, they'll have a slightly lemon flavor. See how this kind of folds itself? We're going to fold it up like this, almost like a French style omelet. And I'm not going to take all of it, just going to take a little bit. I'm just going to put it over to the top here. And I'm going to take my haricots verts, put them on top as well. Now I'm going to make a little bit of a flavoring sauce. I'm going to clear out my pot, throw out all the excess stuff. You notice I'm working with a really hot pot here. It's going to be olive oil, vinegar, and butter. And trust me when I tell you, if you got a good quality olive oil, you got a good quality vinegar, this stuff is going to be like serious, okay? What am I talking about? I'm talking about a unique flavor over a brioche bread. It could be challah bread, could be any kind of bread. Just something that really signifies something being soft and savory. And this egg is really going to take the flavors to the next level, right? Because now you have these spices. And these spices are going to be combined with the roasted red pepper tapenade that I made earlier before. So each one of these components have a different flavor. And then you have the fungi, the mushrooms. You're going to have that earthy flavor in there too. So now we're going to get started with our sauce, and it's quite simple. It's butter, olive oil, some vinegar, mix it around a little bit of salt, and then we're going to go over the top on this baby, and we are finished, ready to go, okay? No rules here, folks. We got some butter. We got some olive oil. We're gonna go back to the fire now. And we don't want like a burnout, we don't want a burnt butter, but we do want a toasted flavor. We want to let the olive oil do its thing with this, right? Now we're taking the butter completely off. Now watch what happens. We're going to add the vinegar in. The vinegar gets the residual flavors off the pan. So anything that was stuck there, all the flavor from the chicken and everything else is going to go right over. Now watch this. You see this? Look at the glaze that's going on top of this, folks. Now we're not done yet. You might think we're done. You say, what is he doing? We're not finished yet. Now, we got to put the best part over this, which is cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, right? But in this case, it's just extra virgin olive oil, but that's going to be the finishing product over this to really marry everything over, right? We're going to take the oil and drizzle it right over the top. Now do not go to the store and pick up no olive oil on sale because you think you're getting a break, right? Because if it doesn't have this color, the sheen texture, it's going to affect your cooking. There's no such thing as taking canola oil and trying to dumb it down, or dumb it up, I should say, that it's going to be quality extra virgin olive oil. It's just not going to happen. So, you know, when you're doing your shopping and you're treating yourself to a meal that's going to nourish your body, you know, my grandmother always used to say, don't cheat when you're putting good food in your body, and that's actually absolutely certain, because you want to make sure that you're really getting the proper flavors and everything else that you can on here. So let's recap on this dish just a little bit here, because we got a lot of stuff going on. I don't want to lose anyone. Let's start with the savory toast, the savory French toast. Now normally or traditionally in a French toast you would take your challah bread and you would dip it in your egg mixture and fry it, and so everybody's made French toast. Who hasn't made it? If you haven't made it, you've eaten it a million times. But this is savory. It had a lot of different spices going on here. We had pepper, we had salt, we had cumin, we had Old Bay seasoning. You could have anything you want. Savory are the savory spices, which is a combination of sweet, salty, and hot texture. We put that in an egg mixture. We sauteed the brioche bun, but we sauteed it with chicken flavors. We sauteed it with chorizo. We sauteed it with haricot verts, mushrooms. We have an earthly sensation in here. We had some really serious flavors here. And that's what I'm talking about cooking and flavors and marrying ingredients that work. So we had that in there. Then we added the egg in there. And the egg sort of just kind of takes everything, all the flavors down in your mouth. You know, the egg combines with all the savory flavors. Now you need like something like a tapenade, a vinegar or something like that, an acid flavor. We have that on the bottom too. So now you have all the married flavors. You have the eggs, the tapenade, the brioche. Now you say to yourself, well, what do I have on top of that? Well, now we start to talk about an earthly vegetable like a haricot vert that has a very subpar taste to it. It's not going to take over the flavors of this dish too, because we have a lot going on here. We put that on. Then we're taking some of this incredible olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. We're taking some of this vinegar, who I didn't think I was going to work with, but I found this strawberry stuff that turned out to be amazing. We made, if you've ever made a beurre blanc before, we've essentially made a beurre blanc with this vinegar, right? Because, I mean, you could have taken the wine and made a beurre blanc. Why not vinegar? Nobody's ever thought of that. But the vinegar, when I was in France, I traveled around Lyon a lot, and they were putting like lemon juice in eggs in the morning. And I kept like, at first I was stunned, and then I actually liked it. And I do that now. I put vinegar whenever I have a protein. So, at the very end, we're gonna finish it with this olive oil here. And like I said, if I have to give you any advice, don't go to the store and buy no olive oil just because it's on sale, right? There's a lot of misconceptions with extra virgin olive oil in general, and using, you know, a canola oil or something that's hydrogenatedly made in a lab somewhere. If you worry about your body and what you're putting into it, you want to treat yourself to the best stuff on the planet. So that's it. Took a lot to make this dish, but here it is, the final version. Now, if I had to give this a name, I would probably say Just For You. Thank you for watching this fun-filled episode. I'm Chef Joe Ciminera. There never was any rules in cooking, and there certainly isn't now.